You're listening to Answering the Call, the official podcast of the 12th Man Foundation. Our show provides listeners with an insider perspective of Texas A&M athletics and its greatest supporters. This podcast will bring you exclusive interviews with coaches, athletes, donors, and the dedicated staff of Aggie Athletics and the 12th Man Foundation. You ready? Let's dive into today's episode. Howdy, and welcome back to another episode of Answering the Call podcast, the official podcast of the 12th Man Foundation. I'm your host, Ivy Robinson, and today I'm sitting in studio with Texas A&M Baseball student athlete Terrence Kiel II. Thanks for being here, Terrence.
Thank you for having me.
All right, TK, I love asking this question with all of our student athletes. This is my favorite way to start podcast episodes. So what is a unique fact about yourself that you think not a lot of people know?
A unique fact about myself, I want to be a pilot after I'm done with my MLB career.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I fell in love with planes since a kid, and I have this plane simulator on my Xbox, and I fly, I take off, I do the landing, I do everything, and ever since then, I just wanted to be a pilot. Just growing up with planes.
That is really cool. Did anyone in your family fly planes, or is it just a random interest?
Just a random interest. Yeah.
Very cool. So are you playing your flight simulator in your free time a lot?
Almost every day. Yeah.
Is that a way to decompress?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think
just
so?
Eases the mind, and I'm just sitting in my chair and just being the pilot. It's pretty fun.
That's
I have a great
awesome.
time playing it.
All right, TK, I know you're from Atlanta, Georgia. Why don't you tell our listeners really quick, just tell us about your background, your upbringing, maybe some fun memories from your childhood, and tell us about your high school.
Yeah, so originally I am from San Diego, California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I lived there for about 4 years. My dad played football here at A&M, and then he got drafted to the San Diego Chargers. So a lot of people don't know that I'm originally from California.
Yeah,
and
I did not know.
when I tell my teammates I was born there, they're like, no, you weren't. I'm like, yeah, I was. And they're like, no, you only lived there for about 4 years, so basically you're not from there. And I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Hey, 4 years is a lot of time, though.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And so I moved to Atlanta in 2008, and so yeah, I enjoyed Atlanta. I mean, I live about 10 minutes from downtown, so I'd always go to the Braves game. I'd go catch a Falcons game, even though I'm not a Falcons fan. Big Braves fan, though.
I was about to ask, are you a big Braves fan?
Yeah, I love the Braves. Michael Harris, he's one of my favorite baseball players. And then I don't like the Hawks either.
Okay,
And so,
okay.
Yeah, I'm a Steelers fan.
Nice, nice.
Steelers fan. And so, yeah, that's my team. No, yeah, I attended Campbell High School in Smyrna, Georgia my freshman year, and then I transferred to a private school called Pace Academy for my last 3 years. And high school, that was the best time ever. I mean, I loved high school. I made a lot of new friends, had different coaches, and I played football and baseball, and I just had a great high school experience.
I'm glad you mentioned that you played football and baseball, because I love talking to student athletes at Texas A&M who had that dual sport history in high school.
Yeah.
So what was the very first sport you played? Was it football or was it baseball?
I think I started off with football at the age of 4, and then I started baseball too at the age of 4. So I was a little kid with high energy, just running around, playing baseball and football every day, and my mom couldn't keep up. So, but me and my mom in my backyard at our house, I had a batting cage, and so she would just toss me baseballs, and we'd go out there every day and just play baseball, and then we'd go on the street and just throw the football. So I was really active as a little kid, and my mom was there too, playing.
That's awesome. So she really helps develop your love for sports, you would say.
Yeah, she's a big fan. Yeah, sports.
That's awesome. Okay, so in high school, what point did you decide baseball was kind of your love and the route you wanted to go in terms of pursuing baseball in college?
I got my baseball offer from A&M my sophomore year, and I think a couple months later, I committed on spot, and I was like, A&M was my dream school. My dad played here. I wanted to continue the legacy. And so a couple months later, I committed. And then I got the football offer my senior year. And I'm like, okay, there's a possibility that I could do both sports. But then I was like, I want to get used to college first and just see how it goes. So I just took the baseball route.
I don't know many players that did both football and baseball here. It's challenging enough
Yeah,
to do
I
one
mean,
sport, I'm
I
sure.
was
But
planning on doing both. Like, I was really set on it, and then I'm like, okay, let's slow down. Let's
yeah,
do one
yeah.
sport first, and then we'll see what happens in the future.
What is your absolute favorite aspect about baseball, and what did you really like about football as well? If you could pick two things.
I'd say with football, the contact. I mean, I played defense and offense, so every single play, I just like to go hit people
Yeah.
while also like
Take out
doing
some
my job
frustrations.
too. Yeah, I like to hit people, and then scoring touchdowns was probably the best part of football. And then I could celebrate with my teammates and stuff like that. I mean, my junior year, I had broke my hamate bone in my hand, and 2 weeks post surgery, I'm back out on the field. In the first round of the playoffs, I scored 5 touchdowns, and I'm
Oh
just
my
like,
gosh.
okay, like, I mean, I was just out there having fun.
Yeah.
And with baseball, it's more of a slow game. There's not as much action as there is in football with baseball. Just like people say, baseball is probably like the hardest sport, and it takes a lot of training and just work to get really good at baseball. So I'd say like just the work ethic I have for baseball and the training and the amount of time that I put into baseball is probably my favorite part of the game.
Yeah.
So,
Going back to your mom, when you were a young kid, was there anything she taught you when you were younger or instilled in you that you still like uphold or believe to this day?
yeah. Funny thing, my mom played intramural flag football, and so she was out there playing wide receiver,
Oh my
catching the
gosh.
football and scoring touchdowns. And she always talked to me about like speed and agility, like you got to be fast, you got to be fast. So she put me in speed and agility training, and I got pretty fast, and that is my biggest asset on the baseball field.
Yeah.
Is my speed.
When you're
And
running those
so,
bases.
yeah,
Yep.
my
Yep.
mom was like, "You got to get fast," and the speed and agility really helped me out with my baseball skills.
Okay. In high school, did you do anything outside of baseball, or was baseball and football the only focus? Did you have any other extracurriculars?
I trained Little League kids, Little League baseball. I trained kids on the outside.
Like volunteer?
Yeah. And did some community service too. One time I chopped down trees for community service. And I mean, I needed the hours for high school.
Right.
Because you needed that to graduate. So I did some outside community service and trained kids in baseball.
Well, good for you. Those younger generations, I'm sure they looked up to you tremendously.
Yeah.
Going back, you mentioned your recruitment process and how you committed to A&M very quickly. Was A&M always the school for you? Did you know that that's exactly where you wanted to go?
Yeah, I would say I grew up Aggie because my dad played here. And so growing up learning about like the colleges and the offers that I had got for baseball and football, I think I was just always dead set on A&M, and it was my dream school. And so getting both the football and baseball offer was a big accomplishment for me. And so, like I said, once I got the baseball offer, I was just set.
Yeah.
And A&M was the place that I was always going to come to.
What had people told you about Texas A&M when you were younger, like that made you obviously wanted to follow in your dad's footsteps, but what else did you know about A&M that really drew you to the university?
The traditions here, and that's a big thing in the culture. And I'd say like those were the things that I heard. I mean, I heard stories about my dad playing football and other things here and there. But when I came on a visit to one of the football games, I think it was against Miami, and I was just like, wow, they are big on their traditions here. And that's something that I want to be a part of, because A&M has some pretty high standards set here, and all of us, we follow those standards. And
Right.
that was a big thing for me and my decision in coming to A&M.
Yeah, those core values, it's what sets the university apart,
Yeah.
right? And the Miami game, that was a great football game to have a visit.
Yeah, and I also came to the game where we beat Alabama. I got to experience that too.
You were definitely sold after you went to those
for
games.
sure. I got
yeah.
to rush the field after the game, and it was amazing.
Okay, TK, what are you studying at Texas A&M?
I'm doing sport management.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite classes or professors, or what have you enjoyed about the program so far?
I'd say one of my favorite classes is Mr. Heideke. If he listens to this podcast, then, giving you a big shout out. Every day in class, we go over this article called the SBJ article, and it's about big news, things that's happening around the sport industry. And the class is really interesting. I mean, even the students are really interested in the class. Everybody's always engaged, asking questions. And then we just got done doing a group project on Rylan Kennedy, who plays football here. And we kind of tied his name into Ken, the Barbie movie. And so we did that, which was pretty awesome.
Really?
And yeah. It was like a NIL project that we just came up with, me and my group. And so his class was really fun. And I had a couple of baseball players in that class with me, so that made the class
Oh, that does sound like a lot of
really fun.
I'm sure it's it sounds like a great time to be taking that class right now, especially with the dynamic landscape of college sports and NIL. There's a lot to discuss.
Yeah, we go over all that stuff, and it's really fun.
Yeah.
That class is 272. So
okay.
Yeah.
So how do you balance the demands of being both an athlete and a student, because it has its significant challenges, right?
Yeah.
Keeping up with the demands of both and staying on track with your studies, but also being ready for SEC level play and game day. So how do you do it?
Well, so in high school, I went to a college preparatory school. And so I had like mentors in my high school, and we'd go there to get work done, pretty similar to what we have here at the academic center. I mean, I wake up in the morning and I go to Bobby Chapman. That's my mentor, and she's always making sure that I'm on top of my assignments and make sure that I'm studying for exams and stuff like that. So I'd say high school really helped me out with that, especially balancing football and then school and then going into the spring season with baseball. And now that I'm here, I felt like I was really organized. In the fall, we don't play baseball. So normally I'm really focused on my training for baseball and then schoolwork, making sure I'm on top of my grades and classes and stuff like that. And then when the baseball season does come, we do some traveling, but Bobby is always on me about staying on top of my work. And so with the academic mentors here, that helps a lot for me to balance my work and with sports.
That's great. Yeah, I had a friend when I was a student at Texas A&M. She was a student athlete. She was on the track team, but she would talk about how being a student athlete, how she was so busy, obviously, with her track, her meets and like training, and then school. And then she also had, I believe she had some kind of part-time job, but she's like, being a student athlete makes me more organized because I have to be. Literally, there's no choice. So would you agree with that? Like, it keeps you very like structured.
I totally agree with that. Yeah, the mentors make it really easy and simple for us. So, and they do a lot for us too. Even when we're traveling, they'll send you texts and they'll be like, "Did you get this done? Did you get that done?" And yeah, they just make it really easy for us.
Yeah. So you sound extremely grateful for just the resources and the mentors that you had that pour into you to help you stay on track with your academics. What other resources do you really appreciate being able to utilize here at Texas A&M? Because our university is known for having world-class resources, programs, facilities for student athletes. So what do you think is helping shape you into a better player and individual from that perspective?
The nutrition center, I mean, that place is amazing. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Monday through Friday. And so I'm there. I'm not a big breakfast person, but I will grab lunch before I go to practice, and then I will come back for dinner. And the food that they make it's amazing. It's like 5-star. And so I think that's one of the big resources here for the student athletes. Everybody is in there all the time, so they utilize that a lot. And I've been to the library, the annex library, a couple times just to study and get work done. It's really quiet in there. Like, I've been in libraries where there's like noise and stuff like that, but in there it's really quiet.
That's where you can really focus and get some stuff done. Yeah.
So I lock in and I just study and I get my work done in the annex library. So I utilize that too.
Well, we're sitting in the Adam Season Academic and Wellness Center right now, and there's several study rooms and little like pod areas where athletes can work on group projects together or whatever it may be. But have you ever utilized this facility as well for studying?
Yeah, I have. I think during the off season, I was studying for an exam and I was in here for about like 4 hours just getting work done and studying. And this is also a great place to come and study. And it's also really quiet. There's not much noise. I mean, downstairs, but you also have the second and third floor where it's really quiet.
Are there any like quiet zones in this building? I'm not sure if there is like a quiet.
Yeah, there are. On the second floor, there's like a secret room. There's a massage chair. And
What?
I've been in there before.
What?
I've used that about like 3 times, and I didn't even know that.
I'm gonna have to go check this out at some point.
Yeah, you have to. And I've used that about 3 times, and so I'd be in there just getting work done, and while also the chair giving me a massage on my back. And so,
oh my gosh, I'd fall asleep if I was trying to do homework
I have fell asleep
that at the
before
same time.
using that.
Nice. Well, good to know. All right, TK, what do you think sets Aggie baseball apart from other D1 programs?
I'd say just the bond that each player has with each other. There's not one player that has a closer relationship with another player. Like, we're all like brothers. It's like from a family perspective. We all care for each other. We all like help each other because we have experienced guys like Jace and Wyatt Hensler, Caden Kent. Those guys have been playing for about like 3 to 4 years now. And so they definitely help out with the younger guys. And I think that's just what gels our team together, is just that family dynamic of having those guys in the weight room. And they also teach us different things. So learning from them is definitely a big thing. But the bond that all the team has is big.
Are there any veterans on the team that specifically encouraged you or made you an even better player this season?
Yeah, Wyatt Hensler and Jace Lavalette. I mean, probably Jace because he's an outfielder and I play outfield. And so he's taught me a bunch of things, like just have fun and play. Like if you go 0 for 4, that's all right. That's going to happen. Still have fun with a smile on your face. And he says, which I do a good job of having a smile on my face every time. So, yeah.
Well, we're talking about just, what sets Aggie baseball apart from other programs, and something that sets Texas A&M University apart from other schools is our loyal fan base and our season ticket holders and just the support of the 12th man, which ties in great with this podcast and being able to bring student athletes like yourself on to share their stories and why they're grateful for that level of support. What would be your message to those listening to this episode right now who maybe they're baseball season ticket holders, maybe they have been for 5+ years, 10+ years, or maybe they give back to the Tolpan Foundation and want to provide scholarships for student athletes? What would be your message to those people who are providing opportunities for student athletes to come to Texas A&M and pursue their dreams?
I'd say that you guys are greatly appreciated. Y'all play a big part in helping us with our resources, facilities, and even games. Like you said, our loyal fans. I mean, our first game of the season, we kind of struggled getting that win, but I'd say the 12th man won that game for us. And so the season ticket holders and the donors, they do a great, amazing job of just supporting us in our athletics departments. So I'd say
what was the very first game at Bluebell like for you?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I think it was my second AB. I got walked my first at bat, but that was my third at bat actually. We were in like the 7th inning and we were down 1 run and it was bases loaded. And then they walked in a guy and then so I'm up and I'm like, okay, I have a chance to like have a big moment here. And it's my first college game and the bubbles were flying all across the field. I couldn't even focus. I'm like, okay. But this is an advantage because the pitcher, I know he was probably freaking out. And then we had the ball 5 chant going. And so it was crazy, but it was a great experience. And I got walked that AB, but just having that, just being in that moment was crazy. And
that atmosphere.
It felt great. Yeah, the atmosphere was insane.
I'm glad you brought this up, but what is your favorite tradition at Bluebell Park if you had to pick one?
Our home run, like the rattling ball going in the bubbles. And we just started this new home run celebration where we put on the Green Masters jacket and then we do the little putt. And
Congrats
I was
to
able
you.
to finally get the putt. I've been dying to get my putt in. So that's definitely my favorite tradition. The home run, the bubbles.
Who came up with that idea? Was it Shad?
Yeah, Hayden Shaw did.
Yes. The bubbles are just, it's a tradition that's just so hard to beat. It's so fun. That's my favorite tradition. I just love it. All right, I want to hear your perspective. We've talked about this earlier. Or you mentioned it kind of like with your sports management classes, but the dynamic landscape of college athletics and this era of name, image, and likeness. I want to hear your perspective on NIL, and can you maybe share how NIL has impacted your student athlete experience?
Yeah, during this sport age right now, it's crazy. I mean, you see a lot of college kids getting paid millions of dollars just to play football, baseball, and basketball. And yeah, it's pretty cool. With me, I don't think it's really impacted me really. I'm just here to really play baseball. I mean, money is cool and all, but my
Right.
one goal is just to play sports here, and that's really what I'm focused on. That will probably come later, but yeah, I'm just really here to play baseball.
You're here for the love of the game
Yeah.
and to get a great degree from Texas A&M, and that's
Correct.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you hold like a personal motto or saying that motivates you to be your very best on and off the field?
I just tell myself just to have fun and smile. And something that helps me with that too is I have a pregame ritual, so I meditate.
Okay, yeah.
And
I know a lot of
helps me.
athletes that do that, yes.
Yeah, that helps me get through every game is meditating. It
Yeah.
eases the mind, and I'm calm going into every game, and I'm never nervous, and that helps with confidence too. Like I'm really confident in myself and my ability to play baseball.
Yeah, and that's so essential and so key to be confident in your abilities, because I feel like 90% of the time, like if you don't win the mental game, then you're already checked out, right? So you
Yeah.
have to be confident, have to be sure in those abilities.
Yeah.
When did you start meditating? Was that something you started in college, or did you do it in high school
In
too?
high school, my junior year, I started doing it.
Did
and then
someone recommend it to you?
my mom.
Okay,
My
yeah.
mom recommended it to me.
Shout
and
out
then
to your
so
mom.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing it ever since high school.
Very neat.
So,
Do you
yeah.
do it like how soon until like right before you take the field to warm up, or?
I'll do it about 30 minutes prior to first pitch. So I'll go in the weight room where it's like pretty quiet, and I'll just sit there for about like 10 to 15 minutes with my headphones on and sit there and meditate. And that's what I
Yeah.
do.
I
The
like-
2 words I go by is just confidence and consistency.
I always like to hear what those pregame rituals are for some of the student athletes. When we had Gavin Grahovac on this podcast, I asked him, and he said he always would make a turkey sandwich. So
Okay, I didn't know that.
everybody has their thing,
They have their
right?
different rituals, yeah.
Yeah, he said he would always make a turkey sandwich right before he, like, literally was eating it as he was walking out to take the field. So
That's funny.
the more you know, yeah. All right, TK. So I got to know, let's go back to the emotions you felt when you did hit that very first home run at Bluebell Park. Walk us through what was going through your mind in that moment.
Yeah, I was in a 3-2 count, and I knew a fastball was coming. And so normally I don't try to go for home runs. I don't go for home runs at all. I just try to get a hit and get on base. And when the ball came off the bat, I was like, oh, I just popped out to left field. But then the ball keeps going, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe there's a chance. And it got out, and I'm just like, wow, I did it. I hit my first collegiate home run. And I was just filled with excitement and joy just to be able to trot around the bases, because Jace does it all the time, Sorrell does it all the time, Wyatt Hensler does it all the time. And I'm like, when is my moment going to come? And my moment came, and I was able to just feel that joy of just hitting a home run and running into the dugout and doing the putt celebration, like I said before. And so
That is right.
that felt amazing. That was the
what-
best moment ever.
What a game. I believe that was also the game where Bluebell Creameries sponsored that game. So there was a Bluebell ice cream truck out. I don't know if y'all knew this, but it
We
was
didn't know that. no.
outside of the entrance. And so when fans left that game, they could get free Bluebell ice cream. So it was a special day for multiple reasons. Hit your first home run, and it was
Yeah.
Bluebell Creameries sponsorship game.
I
So
didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
yeah. Well, that is just awesome. And congrats to you again for that first
Thank
home
you.
run. What did it feel like when you earned SEC Freshman of the Week this season?
It was the first week, and I didn't think I was going to get it. I knew I played a great weekend series, but I didn't expect to get SEC Freshman of the Week. And I was sitting in a mentoring class, and then I was doing my homework or whatever, and then I got a notification on Twitter, and it was like, Terrence Kiel, SEC Freshman of the Week. And I was like, oh. Like, I always see all my other friends. Well, I saw Grahovic and Sorrell got it last year, and I'm like, all right, maybe there's a possibility that I could get it. And my phone started blowing up, and I got notifications. I'm like, oh, wow. And it's one of my accomplishments. I've always wanted to get SEC Freshman of the Week because
Yeah.
the SEC is one of the best conferences to play baseball in and the most competitive conference in. So getting that award was pretty big for me.
And we're just extremely excited for you. And I'm sure that was a surreal moment too. The first week too, that was awesome. Awesome. Why are you specifically proud to be an Aggie and wear the maroon and white and represent this university?
Yeah, it's a dream. I've always wanted to do this as a kid. And so now that I'm living in the moment here and I'm wearing Aggie on my chest, it's everything really for me.
And then what are your future goals, TK? I know earlier you mentioned obviously the big leagues and then beyond that, pilot, but what other goals do you have for yourself?
Just to play in the MLB for as long as I can.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. And possibly have a shot at playing in the NFL, but we'll see how that goes.
We'll be watching and cheering you on all the way. Terrence Kiel II on Answering the Call podcast. Terrence, thank you again for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Answering the Call, the official podcast of the 12 Man Foundation. A special shout out to our incredible podcast producer, Megan Hoffman, to 12 Man Productions, and to Texas A&M Athletics NIL Department. As always, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to every donor and season ticket holder for their loyal support of Texas A&M Athletics. We'll be back soon with more content. Thanks and gig 'em.